home.
You look at the camera.
Oh,
Today we're going to talk to Mama Langley and Mama Stooksbury about when they were growing up, when they were young and when we were growing up.
now?
Yeah, it's on right now. See it blinking when you see that red light blinking right there, that means it's on. Okay, so I'll start asking you some
Well, let me turn up
questions
my aid.
so you can hear me. Okay, so we're going to start right now in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. What I want you to tell me is who your mother and dad was.
Yes, my mother was in McCoy, and my daddy was a Rutherford.
Where were your mom and dad from?
Tennessee only,
From Tennessee? Do you know?
Union County.
Union County?
I can't hear you good.
Well, do you know where their mother and dad is from?
Yes, they were in Tennessee and Union County all the way.
So they were all from Tennessee and Union County.
Yes,
Okay. Do you know what lineage they're from? You know, are they Irish, English, or Dutch, or do you know?
English.
English? Well, now, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had one brother and 4 sisters.
One brother and 4 sisters? What was their names?
Oakland, Ronas, Maud, and Della. Corm, my brother.
Are they all living now?
No, they're all deceased except Della. In the nursing home in Andersonville.
Do you go see her very often?
Yes, I do.
How's she doing now?
Well, not too good.
She's not doing too well?
Didn't hear it.
She's not doing too well?
No.
Well, can you tell me something about how all of you grew up? How did you grow up? Were you on a farm? Did you grow up on a farm? What was it like when you got up in the morning? What was the day like?
Go to school or go to work out in the field, in the garden, or in a cornfield.
What time did you get up in the morning?
Early,
Well, what's early?
about 7.
About 7 o'clock? And you'd go out and work in a cornfield?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have chickens and animals?
Chickens and hogs and pigs and cows and a horse.
Well, now, did you raise a lot of that to eat?
Everything in the garden, and canned stuff, and potatoes, beans, cabbage, lettuce, everything in the garden.
Well, just tell me something about it. What was it like? Tell me about your daddy and...
Well, we canned up a lot of stuff. We eat out of it all summer, and we canned it all up for winter.
What was your mother like?
She was a good housekeeper and prepared food for the winter. Had cows and milked them. Had milk and butter in the spring house.
Well, how did you feel about your mom? I mean, what kind of a relationship did you and your mother have?
Wonderful. We was close.
You got along real well, and
Real well.
did you do a lot of things together? And
Yes, we did.
what was your daddy like?
He was a real good man. He was crippled from his hips down.
What caused him to be crippled?
Well, he fell off the wagon and hurt his spine, and he'd crawl on his knees in the garden and hoeing in the garden.
And that's what made him cripple, was he fell off something and hurt his spine?
Yes, paralyzed his legs.
Oh. Can you tell me any more about him?
Well, he sell cows and calves and pigs to manage for his 3 children.
So is that how he managed was,
He'd sell those cows and calves and pigs and rent our cornfield, and we'd make the garden to make a living.
well, was it hard? Was it hard for you to make a living?
Well, we worked hard, us 3 children. My 3 other sisters were deceased, and me and my sister and brother would work in the field, and he would rent it, the cornfields, you know, for us, and all we could do is raise tobacco and vegetables, enough to do all summer and all winter too.
Well, did you have a TV in your house?
Didn't have one.
They
Didn't have no electricity.
No electricity?
None.
Well, what did you use for light?
Lamps,
Oil lamps?
all lamps.
Well, how did you heat the house?
Fireplace and wood
Well, how did you cook?
on a wood stove.
You put wood inside the stove and burn it? And
That's right.
And it heated it up, and you cooked on the top of it, I guess.
That's right.
Well, that'd be a hard way of living, wouldn't it?
That's right.
You had to be out chopping wood, I guess, a lot.
There wasn't any cars earlier in my life. Wasn't any cars, vehicles.
So, you got around by horse and buggy?
Yeah, buggy.
By buggy, huh? Well, did you like traveling that way?
Well, that's the only way we knew at that time.
Well, I mean, now you've been in a car. Did you really like, were you out in the open? Was it covered, or how was it?
Oh, yes.
Was it covered? The wagon?
Well, no, the wagons weren't. But
They were open? Did you like riding out in the open on a wagon like that?
Yeah,
Was it fun?
fun, and riding a buggy.
Well, you know, you told me you went to church. How did you go to church?
We walked.
You walked to church. How far was it?
Well, about a mile, and another place 2 miles. And my uncle would take my daddy in the buggy to church, and I would ride with him. I was little.
Well, how far was it to school? Did you go to school?
Well, it's about a mile and a half to school. We'd walk.
You'd walk a mile and a half to school? So you'd
Yeah.
have to get up early just to get there, huh?
Had to get up early.
What
We'd
time?
take her lunch in a basket.
What time did you have to be at school?
About 8.
8 o'clock.
8.
Well, what was school like?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Well, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we had an auditorium in there. We'd have a prayer every morning. They'd call the roll. You know what that is?
Yeah. They call you by your name.
Called your names. And everybody'd say present. If it's there, if they weren't, it was, you know, it wasn't there. So we enjoyed that.
Well, were y'all all of you different ages in the same room?
Yes,
Did you have desks?
yes.
Was your teacher usually a man or a woman?
Candace Tewksbury was our teacher when we was little. Emmy Turner was our teacher when we got bigger.
How long did a teacher usually teach? How long did you have her teaching you?
Well, I had Candace Tewksbury till I got up in a higher grade.
Well, go ahead and tell me about it.
Well, I was very mean at school.
You were?
Yeah.
How were you mean?
Well, me and Lagonda Hutchison would chew tobacco and run to the wastestand to spit.
You would?
Yeah.
While you were at school?
Yeah.
What would the teacher do?
She'd say, I have to punish you. You 2 girls, I have to punish you.
How would she punish you?
Well, she wouldn't. It's Emmy Turner, and she loved us, and she wouldn't report us to the higher teacher.
So you got away with it then?
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness. That put it in your mind maybe that you could get away with a lot.
I know it. And then we'd play basketball. A bunch of girls would play basketball. We enjoyed that.
Oh, so you played basketball?
Yes.
Were you pretty good?
Always real good. Me and my sister and Gertie Stooksbury, when we'd choose up, well, they'd take Dale on one side and Gertie on the other, and then me next, and they gone to Hutchison next. So we was good on playing basketball.
Well, it sounded like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we sure did.
Well, when you took, when you were in school and you took recess, did they ring a bell outside or what?
Rang a bell, and one when books took up. But they'd turn us out, and then when it was books, well, we'd be down to a spring maybe getting water, and we'd hear that bell, we'd go running.